So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar and welcome to Penny. So a little bit about Penny. We are a top life insurance and annuity BGA. Our goal is to help insurance agents write bigger cases and make a lot more money. Before we dive in, here's what sets us apart. So you'll notice on the slides that I have Renaissance art and futuristic technology depicted. And that really represents who we are. We're classic. We work with old school advisors that are interested in truly building a lifelong relationship with clients. And here's what you'll get with us. You'll get top underwriting for large cases, a dedicated A-team to handle your apps, free access to our CRM, Insurio, and tons of free tools like IGO and Fireflight. And you'll also get ongoing training with advanced strategies. So bottom line, we're here to help you grow. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to hand it over to Anna.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Anna Ressler. I am a regional wholesaler at Principal, and today I'll be talking about how to prospect for business solutions cases, what kind of businesses to look for, what industries, and what tools we offer to you to help you in those conversations with your clients. So every year we do a business owner insight survey where we interview 1,000 small to mid-sized business owners to see what their financial priorities are. And this past year, these were our top 5 results. So number 1, you see it's business protection, with 58% of owners saying they have a plan in place to protect their business, but that means that there's a whole lot of other ones that do not already have a plan in place where you can come in and help them establish that. Number 2 was health and wellness solutions, where you can see the majority of them do offer benefits already. Key employee benefits came in at number 3, where only 39% are currently offering benefits, with 65% saying they want to add more. Number 4 is income protection, with half of them having a plan in place. And number 5 would be non-medical benefits, where, as you can see, there's the majority at 70% already offering those benefits. Where my team comes in is on those business protection, key employee benefits, and income protection cases. So in order to establish what type of business they are and where they're at with their needs, we want to see what stage of business they are in. So a new business has been around for 1 to 3 years. They're still getting established. Profits are going back into the company. They have outstanding loans and lines of credit just because they're still trying to build their business up. A growing business has been in place for over 3 years. They're still establishing market share, and they have large expenses like equipment, hires. Maybe they're getting an office at this point with a growing revenue stream, growing staff, where this might be when they're first trying to round out their benefits beyond those basic coverages. An established business has been in place for over 10 years. They're consistent in their cash flow and revenue experience. They have strategies for business transition, buy, sell, with an established client base and relationship management team. This is the area that we are most often working in, is these established businesses, because they tend to have the cash flow to be able to do plans like a deferred compensation plan or key person protection. And lastly, there's transitioning business, where we want to review their benefits and protection strategies, make sure they have that transition plan in place and that new owners can come in smoothly. And they have strategies to help maintain the business and continue to grow the business, even if ownership is transitioning. This is our guide for addressing the needs based on the business stage. So like I was mentioning before, for a new business, we're looking at having that basic coverage in place. And from the beginning, you want to make sure a company has a buy-sell agreement in place. Principal can help with reviewing buy-sell agreements. We recommend doing that every 2 to 3 years to make sure that it is fully updated on any triggering events, whether that would be someone exiting the business, becoming disabled, or passing away. So we want to make sure everything is up to date, that the business value is up to date, and to make sure that there are plans in place to protect the business in case something were to happen, to make sure that business expenses get paid, that employees continue to get paid, and we want to make sure that they have happy employees. So we are looking at key employee benefits, additional retirement plans, and just things to give the employees the full package and give owners full protection and a solid plan for going into retirement. For employees, we want to make sure that they have that basic life and disability insurance, and then for those key employees to have the additional insurance to get them to have that equal percentage of salary covered to the average employee. So that's looking at supplemental insurance, whether that's guaranteed issue for a group basis or on an individual basis. And we want to continue reviewing those plans every year to make sure that we have the right people covered, they have the right amount of coverage, and that employees are satisfied with what they're getting so they don't want to leave that business. And for protecting the owner and their family, as a business owner, we need to make sure they're in the right retirement plan, that they have their wills and trust current. That also includes having the buy-sell being current. We can help them in addressing estate tax concerns, looking at personal insurance. These are for those high earners that they want to have some non-qualified options and just have life insurance as a protection and as an additional investment opportunity. So who are your best sales prospects? Let's look at the top 5 industries. And you can see there's a lot of similarity across these 4 categories where we're looking at professional, scientific, and technical services that's in all of these plan types: construction, manufacturing, finance, insurance. These are positions where the employees are critical. They couldn't be replaced by a robot, and they need to have these plans in place to keep them and their skill set at the company. For the employee size, as you can see at Principal, we really focus on the small to mid-sized business space. So most of these plans are 1 to 99 employees. You can see our deferred comp and our tax exempt plans, we play more in the large business space, but we still have a number of plans in that 1 to 99 employee range. Like I was mentioning before, most of these businesses are established and have been in place for a long time. So we can see for workplace benefits, there's 25 plus years in business. All of these have like quite a bit of years of experience and years of consistent ownership. And then for the sales volume, most of these plans are under 3 million in sales volume. You can see for these non-qualified deferred comp plans and tax exempt plans, there's a much higher sales volume as we have highly compensated executives that are getting these plan types. This is a checklist that you can go through with a business owner when you're meeting with them, or just help you get thinking about the right questions to be asking to help narrow down their priorities. So we want to ask them, would the success of your business be impacted by the loss of a key employee? Have they thought about the transitioning and their employee benefits? Do they have the right qualified retirement plans? Do they need additional retirement plans? Are they covered for their group benefits? Are there contribution limits that are stopping your employees from saving enough for retirement? And then for them as an individual or their family or key employees' families, do they have that individual life insurance and disability insurance and plans just if something were to happen to them, both impacting their business and their personal lives? So now I'm going to move away from PowerPoint and I will be showing you our tools on our website that you can use to help in these conversations once you've narrowed down the priorities. These are all available on our advisor site. So these are available to you once you have an advisor site login. If you do not have one already, I'd be happy to help you get one set up. That's just with our web services team. So this first one is a key person calculator. Everything is done through a digital request for proposal. So this is what the key person one looks like. And you just need to enter your data as the financial professional, the business data, the value of the business, the employee's compensation, and then some insurance and debt information. So once you've filled out these criteria, we're able to have an immediate output of this report that you can go over with your client. So this report explains how a key person policy works. It determines the right amount of coverage and gives you this spreadsheet that looks at the total number of employees in the business, the key employees, compensation, and what protection they may need. So we recommend a minimum of a 3 times multiple for key person. So as you can see, if the compensation was $200,000 at a base level, we'd be looking at $600,000 of coverage, and these are typically term insurance policies. And this explains why you would do each coverage level based on the multiple of salary, and then what that annual premium looks like. So you'd be able to do that RFP with your client in like 5 minutes, and then you would have this output to help you go over with them. And it just is a really sleek and compact way to see how these plans work, what the cost is, and what the benefit is. The next one I'll touch on is our business needs assessment. This one, you would send an email to your client and they would go through and rank their business priorities, similar to what I was talking about earlier in the slides. And you can do this alongside them, or they can do it on their own. And this one is a bit more of a simple output, but we can highlight those cautionary points of things that they may have mentioned. So they maybe indicated that they haven't had their business valued recently. So we want to look at getting them a business valuation, that they don't have a buy sell. So that's something they would need to do. This would be, they're not sure if the business is financially protected, or they're unsure if they would be financially protected from the loss of a key employee. And then we'll also highlight things that they are doing well, like they know when they want to transfer the business and what that transition may look like. So based on the owner's inputs into the email or going through this with them, we would then link them to the tools that may be helpful for next steps. So in this case, they really didn't know much about their business value. And so we would request that they do a business valuation with Principal. And that's all complimentary. So the next one would be to see the actual business valuation. And for this is what the request for proposal looked like. This is the most involved RFP because we need 3 years of financials. So for this one, they would enter the business information, the financial professional information, and then we would request those financial documents. This can be done for just doing a business valuation or a buy-sell review, or we can do it for both the business valuation and buy-sell review. This one does not have an immediate output. It's like a 2-week turnaround time. And once this report is completed, you and the owner would get an email from our advanced solutions team to set up a meeting to review the report. That is optional. You're also just given the report as is. So you can go through it with the business owner on your own, or you can go through it with the help of our attorneys and CPAs to talk through how they came to these calculations, the valuation methods, and what may be needed. So this is a marketing piece as much as it is a report. So we are talking through the components of effective planning, how these plans work for business protection and for helping owners. And so these are all just those educational pieces on how these things work. I know I'm flying through this trying to get to the actual customized report. So this is for an example company profile in the construction industry. We know that it's an S corporation. They've been in business 25 years. They have 50 to 100 employees, and it's a family-owned business. So we'll look at their financial statement summary based on the documents they provided and see what that's looked like over the last 3 years. Are they trending as a growing business? Are they declining in sales? Is it staying the same? And then with that, we're able to come into that valuation. So we use 5 generally accepted methods of valuation to determine what the business value would be. So we can see this is the adjusted book value, the capitalization of earnings, excess of earnings, discounted future cash flow, and the multiple of discretionary earnings. We see the assumptions for the calculations, look at the different methods of how they came to that outcome, and then we can look at what is needed. So this is for owner protection, looking at succession planning, key person protection for owners, debt coverage protection. For transition planning, we want to look at different buy-sell options and buy-sell agreements. We can see this output shows percent of ownership, the value of their ownership today, and estimated future value to make sure that they have their buy-sell completely updated and having full coverage based on percent of ownership. We can look at the different buy-sell options. So this is for a cross-purchase. This is recommended specifically because it is a 2-owner group in this case. And we can look at the buy-sell funding methods, what the methods look like, what does it look like to fund buy-sells with life insurance versus with cash. And then if it's a family-owned business, we have specific information and reporting on that, on different plan types for that, like if they do an inheritance equalization plan. And then estate tax considerations. And then there's also plans on our disability plans and our life insurance plans are both included on these reports. So the different options for those plans. This is like a 40-page report. So I'm just showing you a sample of it. There is a ton of really helpful information on this, whether it's for you as the financial professional who's done this a bunch of times, or if it is for this business owner who's just starting to digest what these plans look like and what they can do for them. It's just a lot of educational pieces and then those specific customized reports. So like I said, you can either do this on your own with your client, but I highly recommend doing this with our advanced solutions team. They're super helpful in talking through the more complex plan designs and especially with the buy sells, or if they end up doing non-qualified deferred comp, they're just really helpful to review these plan types and talk specifically about where a specific business is at and talk with the owners on the owner's concerns. So this can lead to a lot of conversations, which can end up leading to a lot of sales. So I can send everyone the customer opportunities, the checklist, and then I have a complete piece on all of the things I went over today. And then we have some additional ones that cover like specific to agriculture business or different, maybe more unique company structures. Any questions on what I reviewed or on the advisor site itself?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So what mistakes do you find like that agents make when trying to sell to business owners?
I think it's just like agents want to feel like the expert and they may not be the expert. So bringing in someone who knows the tax information and like business structures, like our advanced solutions team sees these, whether it's a C corp, an S corp, and an LLC, and they know the ins and outs of it, maybe more than an agent would. So it's really just a lack of knowledge because they don't dive as deep into this stuff as our team does.
Gotcha. And one more question that I have. So
Mhm.
what are the biggest objections that business owners have when it comes to life insurance?
Yeah, the number one objection would be that they don't feel like they have enough capital to do this kind of plan. And so that's where I was saying that this is often done with businesses that are well established and have been around for a long time because they do have the capital that's needed for these plan types. And the plans can be a wide range of premium amounts. So if we're looking at a key person life insurance plan, that's a term policy that's probably not going to be a lot of premium, maybe a couple $100 a year. If we're looking at plans for funding a buy sell or for a deferred comp plan, those are the higher premium amount plans. But we can tweak them into whatever is needed for the budget and see what they're capable of with the money they do have to work with. And there can be benefits to the putting the money into life insurance on the tax side also. So it's important to look at it at their capital, what that money's doing now, and what that money could do within the life insurance vehicle.
And one more question that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any proven scripts or sales questions that may help open the door for business planning?
Yeah, I do, and I can send those. We have a whole piece on the questions that can prompt these kinds of conversations.
So I'll give a few more minutes as questions start coming in. And as we wait for people to uh, do their questions, I have another question. So
Mm-hmm.
how do you build, as an agent, how do you build like immediate urgency
Yeah,
to
that's a
business
great
owners?
question. I think from asking those questions, like especially for protection planning, there is immediate urgency because you never know when something could happen. And so that is a way to build that urgency is that they should be protected because it's not predictable. So that's a good starting point is doing those protection plans. And then from there, it can be a launching pad into other opportunities. For the retirement type plans or using life insurance as an investment vehicle, we want to give that money time to grow. And so that's the urgency there is that if they have 10, 15 more years in the business, we want to start that as soon as we can so that the cash value of the policy can grow into something that can be meaningful distributions at the time of retirement. And if they start when they're younger, they're going to get a better life insurance rating with their age, and they can be super preferred. Like we don't know how long that level of health may be for them, so it can help them save a lot of money in the plans.
And are there any common case studies or industry specific examples that can help business owners better understand the value?
Yeah, I have a handful of those that I can send. Do you have a specific industry in mind?
Nope, just in general.
Yeah, yeah, we have them for we do a lot for like law offices and CPAs, and then we have an agriculture specific one because there can be some differences in how that works. I use a tech one quite a bit. We have it for a number of industries.
And David has a question. Can you send me your contact information? And that's from David in the chat.
Yeah, I'll send Christopher my contact information and all the marketing pieces, and he can share that with everybody on the call.
Looks like we may have another question coming in. And one question that I have, in your experience, what emotional or financial triggers make business owners take action?
It is almost always after they've seen something happen to someone else that it makes them realize that they need something in place. So it could be from a sudden death or a disability that they saw their friend or their family member need to manage these kinds of things and see what it's like if they didn't have protection in place, or uh, if they're suddenly looking at their like wills or uh, estates, that then they're looking at the tax issues and seeing just what needs to be sheltered and how that can play out. But like 9 times out of 10, it's because they saw someone else go through it or deal with these things, and then they realized they needed something.
I'll give a minute for any other questions. It doesn't look like there are any other questions. So thank you so much, Anna, for all that information.
Yeah, thank you for your time. And if other questions come up, feel free to reach out.
And thanks for joining, everyone.